everyone. Hello, how are we doing? All right? I said, how are we doing? All right? Lovely. Before I start my talk, can we give John and Sue one more round of applause? Because that was a tough act to follow. That was truly powerful and moving, and their first time doing that talk together. So thank you very much. My name's Conor. I'm an improviser and a clown, and for this talk to go well for me, something's got to go wrong. Something's got to fail, which will be great for me. Maybe not so great for you guys. You might not enjoy that, but I'll have had a real kick out of it. I've been performing for 12 years or so, improvised comedy. I've played at Alexandra Palace to 1,000 people. I've played at the Soho Theatre, Leicester Square Theatre, and lost a lot of money at the Edinburgh Fringe, performing many years. And now I go into companies like YouTube, ASOS, BlackBerry, who are they? And to Uber, and teach them how improv and clowning techniques can help them. And to give you a bit of an idea of the stuff that I perform, at Alexandra Palace, I was performing a freestyle improvised rap show, 45 minutes of improv rap. I also perform in an improv puppet group, where we play with puppets and everything's completely made up on the spot. And I recently finished a run of shows where an illustrator from the Beano would take suggestions from the audience as they walked in. He would draw those locations, and then they would be projected behind me, and I would improvise with the animations live on the spot, no pre-planning, no rehearsal, one time only, that's it. This is probably the first time I'm on stage performing something that I've actually written down, and already I've gone way off script. I'm running out of time already. So up until this point, I've always made it up as I've gone along. And I think everyone else should improvise too. Why? Well, we're going to find out. I'm afraid to tell you guys that my talk is ever so slightly interactive. So what I'd love for you guys to do now is turn to someone that you don't know. Turn to someone next to you. I can see everyone going, I haven't even had my lunch yet. I do not want to do this. Turn to someone next to you. Turn to someone next to you. Introduce yourself. Say hi. Come on. I've only got 13 minutes for you guys. Thank you very much. Lovely. Right. One person. I've never done this with such a big group of people. One person in that pair, put your hand up for me. One person in that pair, put your hand up for me. All come on. No, I'm kidding. That person, you have 1 minute to tell the other person or people your life story. For some of you, that won't be enough time. So for some of you, it's far too much. If you run out of stuff to say, just don't worry. Just tell them what you had for breakfast this morning. So you've got 1 minute. Take it away. Off you go. 1 minute. Okay, that's time. Round of applause. So, that was just under a minute because I've already strayed off script too much. Now, the person who was just being told the life story, you have just under a minute to tell the life story back to that person. Away you go. 1 minute. Off you go. All right, that's time. Round of applause. Thank you so much for going along with that. Just cut it slightly short because we're already out of time. Give me a percentage. The people who told their life stories, how accurate in a percent would you say that your story was being told back to you? In a percent. Shout out. 95? 95? Ah, nice. Yeah. Usually very high, right? Very, very high. I've never done this before and anyone said any lower than, say, 80. It's amazing how much more we take in when we just listen, right? I just gave you a task, but all you had to do there was just listen. Instead of just waiting for your turn to speak. You've probably heard of active listening. And how many times are you sat, say, in the pub and someone's telling a funny story and you're going, oh, God, I've got to think of a funnier story to tell. Oh, my God, this is such a good story. I've got to have a better one. Or when you're in a meeting and someone's got a great idea and you go, oh, man, I've got to have a good idea too. And that's all improv is. It's listening. Well, that's how we start an improv scene. We listen. And an improv scene is just passing information back and forth. And what we say in improv is you need to listen like a thief. Everything that my scene partner says on stage is more valuable and more important than any ideas I have. If I just listen to them, take that on board, then I become a better improviser and a better listener almost instantly. Now, my next interactive bit is for one brave soul who fancies joining me on stage to help me plan a party. Anyone who fancies coming and joining me on stage? Otherwise, I will pick you. I've picked many a person in my life. I know what I have to do. You, sir, would you like to join me on stage? A big round of applause. Hello, I'm Conor. Facing your fear, perfect. Lovely to meet you, John. So you, sir, are going to help me prove my point that we can all improvise, no pressure. We're going to improvise a rap... No, I'm kidding. Drop it. Okay. No, what we're going to do is we're going to plan a party. We're going to plan a party together. And we're going to plan 3 parties, 3 really quick ones. And what I'd like you to do is you're going to give me ideas at the party. And at first, I'm gonna say no and tell you the reason we can't have those at the party. So just any ideas off the top of your head, what we could have at the party afterwards, in the pre-drink, in the post-drinks even.
Lots of alcohol.
Lots of alcohol. Lovely. Hold the mic up to your mouth.
Lots of alcohol.
Lots of alcohol. I'm afraid we can't have alcohol because I know what this lot are like. They're a bit rowdy, and I know what will happen if we serve them alcohol. We can't have alcohol. Sorry.
Yeah, I know a few of them as well.
Exactly, right?
Music.
Music. No, sorry. I'm so sorry. We don't have a PRS license for this venue. We can't have music. No music at all, I'm afraid.
Games?
Games? No. Games are dangerous. We might fall and slip, depending on what games they are.
I heard you were going to be a clown, so how about a clown?
Oh, no, I'm scared of clowns. I can't do clowns. I can't do clowns. All right, lovely. A round of applause for John in his first round of applause. So, John, oh, no, John, stay, don't go. Oh, he needs the microphone as well. Sorry. That was very misleading to tell you to. How did that feel, John? How did that feel?
Okay, actually.
Felt okay?
Better than I thought it would.
Yeah, right? Yeah. How did it feel? Did we get anything done? You can be honest.
You stopped me on...
Yes, I did. So I shot down all your ideas, right? And nothing happened, right. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap roles now. You're going to suggest ideas for the party, and I'm going to say the reasons why we can't have them, but in a slightly different way. So give me some ideas for the party.
Alcohol.
Alcohol. In fact, sorry. I'll go back. Let's swap roles. I'll give you ideas for the party, and you say yes, but. And I'd like you to start every sentence with the word yes, but, and then give me the reason why we can't have them. So I would like clowns at the party.
Yes, but there's none here. What? Maybe if you...
There might be something there for you. I would love to have cocktail sausages at the party.
We don't have sausages.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I would love to have a whole circus act at the party. Yes, but.
Yes, but. They're out of town today.
They're out of town today. That's true. Okay, so how was that? Did we get anything done that time?
Probably not.
Probably not. Definitely not, I'd say. So by saying yes, but, we're kind of, it's the same as saying no, right? We're still rejecting the idea. So now we're going to come to our second rule of improv, and we're going to plan a party together now. You see where this is going. And we're going to start every sentence with the word yes and. That's how we're going to plan our next party. So I'll start us off. We should have clowns at the party.
Yes, and where would we get them from?
Yes, and we will get them from the local clown shop and bring them into the foyer.
Excellent. Shall I go there?
Yes, and?
Yes, and I'll go and get them now.
Oh, great, yes, and I will come with you.
Yes, and do you have money?
Yes, and I've got so much money, and I'm happy to spend it on clowns.
yes, and let's go.
Yes, and let's go. All right, round of applause for John one last
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks, John. You may now leave. Get off my stage. Thank you so much, John. I know that was badly explained, so that doesn't help either. Great. So what a difference that made, right? When our first rule of improv is to say yes and. You might have heard this before too. Every time someone says something to me on stage, I say yes and. We immediately got so much more done. We were within 2 sentences running down the road to buy clowns from the clown shop. With my money, I noticed, John, I'm just saying. So yeah, this is the first rule of improv, yes and. I don't really like to call them rules. I like to call them habits or good traits. It enables our stories to develop. It builds on each other's players' offers and ideas. And the moment someone rejects an offer, the story stalls, which isn't interesting for the audience at all, or productive in creative meetings or brainstorming sessions. And I see this happen with my students all the time. I teach students improv a lot. And just the other day, we had a showcase, and 2 people came out on stage. I was sat in the front row, and this guy walks out, and he pretends to he pours out a kettle, and he says, Karen, I've got the kettle. Would you like some tea? And immediately, this woman said, I'm not Karen, and that's not a kettle. And he just looked at me like, what? What do I do? Within 1 sentence, she just bulldozed everything that her scene partner he just walked on with this lovely offer, and she just said, no, I flat out reject that. And the scene stalls immediately. But I can feel some of you saying, but what if it is a bad idea? What if it's an idea that I don't like? And that's okay. It's a good question. Thank you for asking. Yes and is a delayment of judgment. So if I see a problem with an idea, I still take it on board. That's the yes part. And with the and part, I can fix it. So if John had said to me, say, I want to have a party on a boat, but it's too cold right now, I would have said, yes, let's have the party on the boat, and we'll make sure to bring coats. And then in 1 sentence, I fixed that idea. And instead of rejecting it, bickering about it, and arguing about it. And so that's not the most riveting example of improvised comedy, but there you go. And if the suggestion is one that I should reject entirely, at least I've given that person time to offer their idea, make them feel safe to suggest something. And I took a moment to consider if it was a bad idea, or if it was just one that I was scared of. And there's quite a big difference there, which is something else we'll come on to later. Our second rule is to be obvious. Say the first thing that comes to your mind. Usually the most obvious solution is the best one, right? And unlike stand-up, where you need to be witty or clever, improv, you don't have to do any of that. That's great for me. Because of the nature of improv, comic situations are discovered together. Everything is focused around spontaneity and a generosity of mind and a vulnerability of being open on stage to anything that happens to you, anything that goes wrong, which we've already spotted today when sliders have gone wrong and people just taking it in their stride, which is lovely to see improv happening. And we're focused on what we have in front of us, instead of reaching for stuff that's outside of our grasp. Nintendo are really good at this. I don't know if any of you are gamers, but Nintendo have just released a game where Mario, their famous character, has a vacuum cleaner. And all that he does in the game uses the vacuum cleaner. He starts the game by cleaning, then he uses it to suck up ghosts, then he uses it to fix problems, then he uses it as a little jetpack and it reverses and he flies around. They've taken what they've got in front of them, they've been obvious. What can we do with just a vacuum cleaner? Let's not look for other things, which is pretty ace. Our last rule is to make your partner look good. We're listening like a thief again, right? So no one's the star of the show. It's all about the story. There's no time to rehearse. We'd never rehearsed once in my 12 years of life. We do all our rehearsing on stage. We do all our failure on stage. Creativity, therefore, happens in the moment. And it's improv. Improv is teamwork in action pushed to the extreme, right? And because of this, there's so much room allowed for failure, as team members always have each other's back, and they will support you no matter what. And that is my favorite. That's my favorite rule. I remember when I said something to go wrong, I'd have got a kick out of it. I'm always looking for the failure. In improv, we call that the first unusual thing, or the game of the scene. And that's the moment that the audience laugh at. That's the thing that feels odd in the world that we've already established. And we can build upon that and make it funnier and funnier and funnier until the audience are whipped up to a frenzy and we can lights out. An improv teacher of mine, Dr. Brown, says we should fail. Oh, let's not come up. I'm just failing as often and as publicly as I can. That's his main phrase. Fail as often and as publicly as you can. He's been very horrible to me and made me fail a lot in all workshops I've done with him. And another teacher of mine says that we should be in the shit, which is a slightly less delicate way of putting it. Philippe Gaulier, famous clown teacher who taught Sacha Baron Cohen and Emma Watson and many other famous people, far more famous than I, have been told to be in the shit. When you're being good, you're not interesting. We want to see you play in the shit. And if you can play in the shit, then you can play anywhere. We can find gold in the shit. We can find gold anywhere. And another improv teacher of mine once referred to improvised comedy as like a Persian tapestry, which are worth thousands of pounds, right? These really expensive tapestries that are made very delicately, very slowly. And the way they make them is if they make a mistake on one side, and they can't undo it. So what they do is they make the same mistake on the other side. And now it's no longer a mistake, but the beginning of a deliberate pattern. And they're just passing that information back and forth, and they're building up and up and up to something that's worth thousands of pounds. And Picasso said, if you know exactly what you're going to do, then what's the good in doing it? I think he kind of knows what he's talking about. And my final example is, did you know that Post-it notes were invented because scientists were trying to make a super strong, almost everlasting glue, and instead they made one that worked once. So, like, that could have been seen as a failure, but instead they took that and they ran with it and they turned it into something else. So this, if you're thinking, oh, how can this, it's just all comedy, it can't relate to being in the workplace, then I'm going to prove you wrong by reading this out. It's research conducted by the University of Arizona revealed that the key to success is to fail 15% of the time. And it's the key to fast learning. When things aren't so hard that we give up, but they're not so easy that they're boring. So that's where we learn the most. So, going back to our rules. Yes, and listen like a thief, and supporting each other. These rules enable us, an improv team, to create spaces where each member can feel included and supported by their peers. And in such environments, creativity can flourish because people don't fear getting rejected. People will make happen what was initially thought impossible, even the most introverted people. I've taught improv to 20 Uber drivers, and by the end of the session, they were all improv freestyling together, and before that, they were all stood, not talking to each other at all. And short scenes or entire plays are born out of nowhere, delivered in front of an audience that can never get enough of it. And it's a very satisfying thing. So, why should we improvise? It makes us a better listener. It makes us more open, supportive, and vulnerable. Free, more positive, more creative, more of an idiot, which I think is a great thing. I can't tell you how much of a catalyst it was to learn these two magic words, yes and. Think of all the things that we've said no to because we're too scared to or we don't think we're able to. I said yes to doing this talk, even though it terrified me, and I'm an idiot and I don't have anything to talk about. But look at me now. Look at me now. Yes, I will do the talk, and I will tell John to get off stage too early and mess it up. But it's fine. That's absolutely fine. So what I'd love for you to do is to go out, go forth, say yes and see where it takes you. If you succeed, great. If you fail, even better. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Some
you.
great party planning.
Yeah, good. There's plenty of clowns out in the foyer, so if any of you are scared, don't go out there.
When we first met, you
Yes.
spoke to me about the positive impact yes and can have in your everyday life. Can you share some examples with the audience for me?
What a fantastic question. Yes, of course I can. I can think of two examples. One was my friend Max, who just recently wrote a book called My Groupon Adventure, where he said yes to every single email that Groupon sent him. Every time Groupon sent him an email, I said, yes, I'll do that. I'll take 15% off an all body wax. I'll do it. He just finished publishing a really amazing book where he said yes to every opportunity that came towards him. And he's flown around the world on hot air balloons, been full body wax, etc., etc. It's a very funny book. It's really great. And This is another true story that is slightly corny, but I'm going to tell it anyway. When I first met my girlfriend, we were sat in the pub, and she had a tattoo on her little finger. And I said, "Oh, what's your tattoo mean?" It was in Thai. And she was, "Oh, you wouldn't know. And I said, go on, tell me." She said, "Well, I did this course. It was a business course where I said I had to say yes to everything that I did. And I ended up going all the way to Thailand. I ended up getting in a plane, going to Thailand. Someone said, 'Do you want a tattoo?' And she said, 'Yes.' And it will be the words 'yes and' in Thai." So it really does affect your everyday life. Do say yes and to everything. It's meant to be. Meant to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you.